Welcome back. There's a lot of questions about Kriya Yoga. What is the truth? What is real Kriya Yoga? So today I wanted to talk about that, and to figure this out, we're going to go straight to the man. We're going to go straight to the source to get the truth. So my main source of understanding is from the oral tradition of Panchanan Bhattacharya. So let me talk about him just a little bit. There's nobody else that followed Lahiri Mahasaya more perfectly. One of the stories of Panchanan Bhattacharya is he came to Lahiri Mahasaya as a monastic in an ochre robe, and he threw it away. He just threw it away, and he created his own little business as a florist and started selling flowers in the market so that he could more closely and perfectly follow his teacher, who expounded that it was the householder life that is the perfect life to pursue a spiritual practice like Kriya Yoga. You have your work, you go to work, you're successful, that success gives you freedom. And in that freedom, you can come home, lock the door in your little cave, away from all distraction, and concentrate on your spiritual practice. Lahiri Mahasaya said this was the very best way to do it. So good news to all these householders out here watching this video. Panchanan was entrusted with Lahiri Mahasaya's writings. Some people say that Lahiri Mahasaya didn't write. That's not true. He gave the writings to Panchanan Bhattacharya. He was entrusted with those writings and in printing them, and to do that, he created the Araya mission, who's still active today. Lahiri Mahasaya also entrusted all of his students to Panchanan Bhattacharya, including Bhupendranath, who would later become, after Lahiri Mahasaya's death, Swami Shiyukteswar. So Panchanan Bhattacharya was really Lahiri Mahasaya's prodigy. And not only did he receive all of Lahiri's teachings and kriyas, there's oral and written proof that he actually refined those kriyas further into 7 specific techniques that he passed down through his line, through his tradition. There's very, very few people that get to the end of that journey and receive all 7 kriyas. In fact, I think I know of 2. It's a huge deal, and it's a very long road, and most people only ever receive 3. And the kriyas, as many people know them as 4, are not actually 4, but they're actually 3 that were subdivided to create 4. So very interesting. So before Panchanan Bhattacharya met Lahiri Mahasaya, he was practicing lots of techniques. He found lots of different gurus, and he was practicing a number of tantric techniques, and he would get results, but he would also get negative results. And he kept getting this over and over again. And he was very frustrated and very concerned about it. And so he said that the effects were tamasic, meaning that they led to these negative results over and over again. He couldn't figure out quite why. And so this process of going from teacher to teacher to teacher is very normal. And if you look in the autobiography of a yogi, it's so beautifully expounded. Yogananda tells of his own personal experience going from teacher to teacher, listening to each one. And each one had something to give to him, something to say. Yogananda had to discriminate through all of those teachers to find his one true teacher. And he received Kriya not once, but actually 3 times. So first he was initiated by his father. So you can say that his father was his first initiator of Kriya Yoga. And at that time, he was not, Kriya Yoga is not very impressive. It's not designed to be impressive. In fact, later on, some lineages have tried to make Kriya more impressive, especially the higher Kriyas, because they are worried that people will not be impressed with them. But it's not supposed to impress you. It's supposed to work. And so he was not that impressed with it when he received it from his father. You can read that in the autobiography of a yogi. And then later on, he met Shastri Mahasaya, who was at the time his Sanskrit tutor. And he was overjoyed to find that this was a very deep disciple of Lahiri Mahasaya, and the two of them became very, very close, and he again received Kriya Yoga initiation from Shastri Mahasaya. Those two were very, very close. Then later on, he met again Swami Shukteswar, and he took Kriya a third time, a third initiation into Kriya Yoga. And then very interestingly, in the autobiography of Yogi, Yogananda mentions that Shukteswar, as close as the two of them were, he says, Shukteswar was my guru by proxy, meaning not his actual guru. He felt that his true guru was none other than Babaji. So you could say that Yogananda came to not one, but actually 4 gurus. And so this is why he says very beautifully and clearly in the autobiography of Yogi, you can have many teachers, but only one true guru. And so there's a deeper meaning to that as well, that the true guru is the one that you meet inside in meditation, in the experience of meeting God face to face. That's what yoga is all about. Don't put anybody in between you and me. I got to meet you face to face. That's what yoga is all about. It's what makes it so beautiful. It's very, very self-sufficient. So it's said that Panchanan Bhattacharya actually surpassed Lahiri Mahasaya. And the fellow students that said this about Panchanan Bhattacharya ji, they didn't say it to put Lahiri Mahasaya down. On the contrary, it was a compliment. Because when you have the true perfect teacher that meets the perfect student and the two of them meet up, it's a glorious thing. And he followed so perfectly and so easily, Lahiri Mahasaya, that he became a prodigy. And that's how it should be. If the teacher knows more than you do, has suffered a longer, harder road, when he gives you everything that he knows, you should go very quickly. That's the whole point, right? And you can't see it anywhere better but in these two, Lahiri Mahasaya and his prodigy, Panchanan Bhattacharya. And Panchanan said about this Kriya, it did not lead to any of the tamasic negative results that he was getting with other forms of meditation that he kept encountering. You've probably seen some of these techniques. So what we see in the world today is a lot of different lineages and each one saying its own thing. And the family of Lahiri Mahasaya saw this same exact thing going on after the death of Lahiri Mahasaya, and they also were concerned about it. And out of that concern, they published a book called Garland of Letters, 108 letters, private letters between Lahiri Mahasaya and his deep students, counseling them in Kriya Yoga. And they did this on purpose because of that concern. And each of those letters is a lesson for you and I. So I'm going to have a link below. It's definitely worth having in your Kindle library or in your physical library. Link below, you definitely want to have that. In those letters, Lahiri Mahasaya tells his students, many do not practice mantra japa, chakra by chakra. When this does not happen, it results in tamasic kriya. And the fruit of this is also tamasic. Therefore, during pranayama, one must keep attention on the 6 chakras in the spine and practice japa in each of them. Kriya Yoga without Om Japa is tamasic. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? It's in there not once, but twice. Twice, 2 letters. So the family of Lahiri Mahasaya, knowing the mind of Lahiri Mahasaya, said not once, but twice we're going to put that in there and really drive that home. Kriya Yoga without Om Japa is tamasic. So if you see a lineage out there and you see it without Om Japa, they're doing Kriya without Om Japa, you got to question, what about the master? The master said it has to have that. It's very, very important. Otherwise, it leads to negative results. And what did Panchanan find through his practice? A lot of tantric techniques were leading to negative results. So very, very important. So there you have it, from the lips of the master, black and white. It has to have Om Japa. And now you got to know that Kriya Yoga has to do with the breath. It's a mindfulness of the breath, right? Like so many powerful techniques. And so knowing that, if you're doing that with Om Japa, because it has to have Om Japa, right? It's right there in the book from the lips of the master. So if you know that, you know you got to have the breath, and you know you got to have Om Japa. Well, if you're doing 6 Oms, it's going to create a long breath. So you got to know that. Om Japa means a long breath, and a long breath will induce heart rate variability. So now we know 3 things. 1, Om Japa. 2, it's got to be a long breath. And 3, that has to induce heart rate variability. You can't get out of those 3. It has to do that. And those 3 things combined are extremely powerful. So we have a limbic brain, and the projection of that brain as it interfaces with the central nervous system. The projections of the limbic system, that means your deep emotions, fear, and primal drivings that are in every human being, they're all projected down into the body. Like a mirror, they're projected down, and we call those chakras. And Kriya Yoga sees those and says, I want to silence those. And Kundalini Yoga, on the other hand, says, I want to awaken those. Now, wait a minute. As I explain the chakras, they are projections of your limbic brain. And then Kundalini Yoga comes along. As wonderful as people, I've met lots of people practicing Kundalini Yoga, practicing Tantric Yoga. They're wonderful people. I love them. But there's a problem inherent to the practice when you want to awaken the projections of the limbic brain. These projections then double, sometimes they triple. And so now, for example, the sexual drive, it's not silenced, but it's actually exploding on you. And that can lead to tamasic results, negative results. Fear in the 3rd chakra, not silenced, but instead awakened and expanded. Now you have more fear. So a lot of negative results can come from trying to stimulate the chakras. So it's a different intent. It's the same family tree of the nervous system, but it's a totally polar intent. And as you know, in a spiritual life, your intent is extremely important. Your attitude and your intent, it's extremely important. It sets the stage. And so having this intent, silencing versus awakening, it's very different. And you might say to me, they look the same to me. I understand, but give it a little time and a little trust. Try it out for yourself. Now you know you have chakras. I have a video here on this channel. You can find your chakras and you can go in there mentally, feel them mentally. You have to use your somatic feeling inside the body. I can't point to them from the outside. I got to feel it inside me. And while you're in that chakra, mentally chant Om. Try it out and see what it does for you. So I hope this clears things up about Kriya Yoga and gives you some direction. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's very valuable for you. If it was, hit that bell down below so I can see you guys next time. And take care.